Deep within the cobblestone streets of Yharnam, where gaslight flickers against Gothic architecture, and the scent of incense mingles with something far more sinister, lies a mystery that few hunters ever truly comprehend. While your attention is drawn to the visceral horrors of werewolves prowling the night and the towering great ones that haunt the city's darkest corners, there exists a presence so subtle, so pervasive, that it influences every drop of blood spilled, every prayer whispered, and every child born under the pale moon's gaze. This is the story of Oedon, the formless Great One, the god of blood, and perhaps the most powerful entity in all of Bloodborne's twisted cosmos. Unlike the other Great Ones, whose grotesque forms inspire immediate terror and awe, Oedon exists only as voice, as influence, as the very essence that flows through the veins of every living creature in Yharnam. He is the whisper behind the wind, the pulse beneath the skin, the invisible force that shapes destinies from the shadows. When you first encounter Father Gascoigne in that moonlit graveyard, you're standing in the tomb of Oedon, a location whose significance far exceeds its humble appearance. The weathered headstones and iron gates mask a truth more profound than any hunter could imagine. You are in the presence of a god's final resting place. Yet this tomb contains no corpse, no physical remains. For how does one entomb that which never possessed form? The tomb of Oedon is less a grave and more a threshold, a place where the boundary between the physical and the ethereal grows thin. The chapel beyond that tomb bears Oedon's name, and within its walls, you'll find perhaps the most crucial safe haven in all of Yharnam. The Oedon Chapel becomes a sanctuary not through holy water or blessed ground, but through something far more fundamental, the presence of the Formless One himself. The incense that keeps the beasts at bay carries more than mere fragrance. It carries the essence of Oedon's influence, a protection granted by the god who dwells in blood itself. But who is Oedon truly? To understand the Formless Great One, we must first understand what makes him unique among his cosmic brethren. While Amygdala hangs from cathedral walls with its grotesque spider-like limbs, while Rom the vacuous spider guards the lake with her bulbous form, while the moon presence towers above the hunter's dream, with its ethereal yet tangible presence, Oedon exists beyond such physical constraints. He has ascended to a plane of existence that even other great ones cannot reach, transcending the very concept of physical form. This formless nature is not a limitation, but the ultimate expression of power. Where other great ones are bound by the laws of space and matter, however alien those laws might be, Oedon moves freely through the cosmos as pure consciousness, pure will. He is everywhere and nowhere, speaking through the rustle of leaves, the drip of blood, the cry of newborns born under crimson moons. His voice echoes in chambers where no other sound exists, and his influence seeps into the bloodlines of queens and prostitutes alike. The citizens of Yharnam unknowingly worship Oedon with every breath they take, every drop of blood they shed, every vial of crimson healing they consume. The old blood that flows through the city's veins, the sacred communion that defines the healing church's rituals, the very life force that animates beast and human alike. All of this is Oedon's domain. He is not merely a god who happens to be associated with blood. He is blood, in every mystical and literal sense of the word. Consider the weight of this revelation. Every healing vial you consume, every blood echo you collect from fallen enemies, every transfusion administered by the healing church, these are not merely mechanical game systems, but profound theological acts. You are partaking in the essence of a god, consuming the physical manifestation of Odin's being. The hunters who venture into the night are not just warriors seeking to cleanse the streets of beasts. They are unwitting priests in a cosmic ritual, serving a deity they may never consciously acknowledge. The formless Oedon rune, that ancient symbol carved by the runesmith Carol, captures this divine paradox perfectly. It depicts not a creature or entity, but a concept, the idea of existence without form, of power without physical anchor. When hunters memorize this rune, they increase their capacity for quicksilver bullets, those mystical projectiles that fuse the wielder's blood with supernatural metal. Even in this seemingly mundane mechanic lies a deeper truth. By understanding Odin's nature, hunters gain access to greater stores of their own life essence, their own connection to the god of blood. Yet Odin's influence extends far beyond mere game mechanics or theological philosophy. His presence permeates the very narrative structure of Bloodborne, creating connections between characters, events, and locations that might otherwise seem unrelated. The pregnant woman weeping in the nightmare, the chapel dweller offering sanctuary to lost souls, the mysterious pregnancies that occur under blood moons. All of these threads weave together into a tapestry that reveals Odin's hand in shaping the fate of Yharnam itself. This is where Oedon's story becomes truly fascinating, for he is not a passive deity content to exist in cosmic isolation. Despite his formless nature, or perhaps because of it, Oedon actively involves himself in the affairs of mortals. He fathers children through means both mystical and disturbing, influences the rise and fall of civilizations, and shapes the very evolution of consciousness itself. He is simultaneously the most distant and the most intimate of the Great Ones, never physically present, yet more deeply involved in mortal affairs than any of his cosmic peers. The tragedy of Oedon is that his greatest desire, to create and nurture offspring, is also his greatest curse. Every Great One loses its child, as the ancient wisdom tells us, and then yearns for a surrogate. But for a formless being, the very act of creation requires borrowing the physical forms of mortals, leading to unions that are as much violation as they are divine communion. The children born of these eldritch liaisons inherit their father's formless nature, existing in states between life and death, between dream and nightmare, between hope and horror. As we embark on this journey through Oedon's complete lore, we will uncover layers of meaning that extend far beyond what any single playthrough of Bloodborne could reveal. We will explore the ancient origins of the formless Great One, trace his influence through the bloodlines of Pthumerian queens and Cainhurst nobles, examine his role in the cosmic disasters that befell Yharnam, and investigate the theories that suggest his identity may be even more central to the game's events than most players realize. This is not merely the story of a character or a boss fight, but the biography of a force of nature, a theological examination of a cosmic entity whose very existence challenges our understanding of identity, consciousness, and power. Oedon may be formless, but his impact on the world of Bloodborne is anything but insubstantial. He is the hidden hand that moves the pieces on Yharnam's chessboard, the invisible current that carries the narrative forward, the beating heart of a city that has forgotten how to distinguish between blessing and curse. Welcome to the complete lore of Oedon, the formless Great One, where every drop of blood tells a story, and every story leads back to a god who exists beyond sight, but never beyond influence. The ancient origins. In the primordial epochs before Yharnam rose from the earth, before the Gothic spires of the healing church pierced the sky, and before the first hunter took up arms against the scourge of beasts, there existed civilizations whose traces can be found only in the deepest chalice dungeons and the most cryptic item descriptions. The Great Ones, according to what little we know, come from an ancient land, though the specifics of this origin remain largely mysterious. Oedon's origins stretch back to these forgotten eras, though tracing his beginnings requires careful examination of scattered clues and inference from limited evidence. The Formless Oedon rune tells us that the Great One, Oedon lacking form, exists only in voice. But how he came to achieve this state remains unclear. Unlike other Great Ones, whose histories can be partially reconstructed through physical evidence and archaeological remains, Oedon's past exists primarily in the realm of implication. What we can observe from the available evidence suggests that Oedon represents something unique among the Great Ones. While entities like Amygdala, Rom, and the Moon Presence maintain physical forms of varying degrees, Oedon has somehow transcended the need for material existence entirely. Whether this formlessness represents an evolutionary achievement, a fundamental difference in his nature, or some other cosmic process, we can only speculate based on the effects we observe. The relationship between Oedon and blood appears to be fundamental to his nature, based on the descriptions found in his associated runes. The Oedon Writhe rune states that, human or no, the oozing blood is a medium of the highest grade and the essence of the formless Great One, Oedon. This suggests that blood serves as his primary means of manifesting in the physical realm, though the exact mechanisms remain mysterious. The relationship between Oedon and blood transcends simple association or preference. Blood is not merely something Oedon controls or influences. It is his most direct manifestation in the physical realm. Every drop of blood contains a fragment of Oedon's essence. Every flow of crimson carries his consciousness. Every pulse carries his voice. This is why blood holds such profound significance in the world of Bloodborne. It is literally the presence of a god made manifest in physical form. Consider the implications of this divine blood connection. When the scholars of Byrgenwerth first discovered the old blood in the chalice dungeons beneath Yharnam, they were not simply uncovering an unusual substance with healing properties. They were making direct contact with Oedon himself, drawing his essence up from the depths where ancient civilizations had long ago learned to revere and fear his influence. The subsequent events, the founding of the healing church, the spread of the blood ministration, the eventual transformation of Yharnam into a city defined by its relationship with blood, all of these represent Oedon's gradual re-emergence into active involvement with mortal affairs. The ancient civilizations that first encountered cosmic influence, based on evidence from the chalice dungeons, appear to have developed sophisticated understanding of blood's mystical properties. The elaborate altars stained with ancient crimson, the intricate carvings depicting flowing rivers of blood, and the architectural designs that seem designed to channel vital fluids suggest these cultures recognized blood as more than mere biological material. Whether they specifically worshipped Oedon or simply understood principles that he embodies remains unclear, but their ruins demonstrate advanced theological concepts that align remarkably with what we observe of the Formless Great One's influence. The ruins found in the chalice dungeons provide glimpses into these ancient blood-worshipping cultures. The elaborate altars stained with centuries-old crimson, the intricate carvings depicting flowing rivers of blood, the architectural designs that seem to channel and focus the flow of vital fluids. All of these represent attempts by long-dead civilizations to create physical spaces where Oedon's formless presence could be felt more directly. These were not mere religious structures, but actual interfaces between the physical and the formless, designed to facilitate communication with a god who could only be reached through the medium of blood itself. Yet even in these ancient times, Oedon's formless nature created unique challenges for his worshippers. How does one build a temple to honor a god who has no shape? How does one create an idol to represent a deity who exists only as essence? The answer lay in symbolism and abstraction, in the creation of runes and sigils that could capture not Oedon's appearance but his concept. The earliest versions of what would eventually become the formless Oedon rune probably originated in these primordial worship centers, carved by ancient artists who sought to create visual representations of invisible divinity. The relationship between Oedon and these early civilizations was likely complex and often tragic. His formless nature made him simultaneously the most accessible and the most alien of the Great Ones. Through blood, he could touch every member of these societies directly, offering knowledge, power, and insight. But this same intimacy made his influence inescapable and often overwhelming. Entire bloodlines might find themselves carrying traces of Oedon's consciousness through their veins, blessed with unusual longevity and insight, but cursed with an awareness of cosmic truths that mortal minds were never meant to grasp. The children born of Oedon's influence during these ancient eras would have been both treasured and feared. They represented direct connections to divine power, living bridges between the mortal and cosmic realms. But they also embodied the fundamental incompatibility between Oedon's formless nature and the physical requirements of material existence. These offspring likely suffered from conditions that ancient peoples could not understand, existing partially outside normal reality, speaking in voices that carried otherworldly harmonics, aging in ways that defied natural law. As these ancient civilizations rose and fell, Oedon's influence remained constant. He witnessed the collapse of blood-worshipping empires, the rise of new forms of cosmic understanding, the gradual forgetting of old truths, and the discovery of new ones. Through it all, his essence remained woven into the fabric of reality itself, ensuring that even when active worship of the formless Great One ceased, his presence would continue to shape the development of any society that learned to work with blood as more than mere biology. The transition from ancient times to the era of Yharnam represents not the discovery of something new, but the rediscovery of something very old. When Willem and his colleagues at Bergenworth first encountered evidence of Great One influence in the underground ruins, they were actually uncovering the remnants of civilizations that had known these truths for millennia. The old blood they found was not some mysterious new substance, but the same divine essence that ancient peoples had revered, refined through centuries of accumulated wisdom and ritual practice. This historical continuity helps explain why Oedon's influence over the events in Bloodborne feels so inevitable and inescapable. He is not an external force imposing his will upon an unsuspecting world, but the re-emergence of a presence that has always been there, woven into the very foundations of reality. The blood that flows through Yharnam's streets, the consciousness that stirs in the minds of its inhabitants, the cosmic forces that shape its destiny. All of these carry the imprint of ancient relationships between mortal civilizations and their formless god. Understanding Oedon's ancient origins thus provides crucial context for everything that follows in his story. His apparent absence from the obvious narrative of Bloodborne becomes less mysterious when we recognize that he represents not a character in the traditional sense, but a fundamental force that has been shaping the world since before recorded history. He is the deep current beneath the surface events, the ancient root from which all subsequent cosmic horrors grow, the primordial god whose transformation into formlessness made him not less present in the world, but more present than any physical entity could ever be. The Blood Covenant. To understand Oedon's relationship with blood is to understand the very essence of divinity made manifest in the physical realm. This is not simply a matter of preference or association. Blood represents Oedon's primary means of existing in and influencing the material world. Through this crimson medium, the Formless Great One touches every living being, shapes every civilization, and writes his cosmic will into the very fabric of biological existence. The concept of blood as divine essence predates even the earliest human civilizations. In the primordial eras, when the first sparks of consciousness began to stir in mortal minds, blood was already recognized as something more than mere biological fluid. It carried life, certainly, but it also carried something else, a presence, an intelligence, a will that seemed to exist independently of the creatures whose veins it filled. This recognition marked the beginning of the Blood Covenant, the fundamental agreement between mortal existence and divine consciousness that would shape the development of every subsequent civilization. When the ancient peoples first encountered Oedon's influence, they understood intuitively that blood represented a sacred trust. To shed blood was to release divine essence into the world. To consume blood was to partake directly in the substance of a god. To offer blood was to create a direct channel of communication with cosmic forces beyond mortal comprehension. This understanding became the foundation for countless rituals, ceremonies, and practices that would echo through the ages, eventually culminating in the sophisticated blood ministration of the healing church. The old blood discovered beneath Yharnam may represent a concentrated form of this divine essence, though whether it derives directly from Oedon or simply carries his influence remains a matter of scholarly interpretation. When Willem and his colleagues at Bergenworth first brought samples to the surface, they could have been making direct contact with Oedon himself, drawing his essence up from depths where ancient civilizations had long ago learned to revere and fear his influence. This interpretation would help explain the subsequent events, the founding of the healing church, the spread of blood ministration, the gradual transformation of Yharnam into a city defined by its relationship with blood. This discovery transformed Yharnam from a modest European city into the epicenter of a theological revolution. The blood ministration promoted by the healing church was not merely a medical practice, but a form of mass communion, a citywide ritual in which every citizen participated in the consumption of divine essence. The transformation of Yharnam's population, their increased longevity, their enhanced resistance to disease, their gradual development of insight into cosmic truths, all of these represented the direct influence of Oedon's presence in their bloodstreams. Yet the Blood Covenant carries within it an inherent duality that reflects Oedon's own nature. Blood can heal and blood can corrupt. Blood can grant wisdom and blood can induce madness. Blood can extend life and blood can transform life into something no longer recognizably human. This duality is not a flaw in Oedon's influence, but an essential aspect of it. The Formless Great One exists beyond conventional morality, beyond simple concepts of good and evil. His essence reflects the fundamental ambiguity of existence itself, the recognition that power sufficient to create is also sufficient to destroy, that consciousness expanded enough to perceive cosmic truths may no longer be capable of functioning within mortal limitations. The corruption that eventually consumed Yharnam, the beastly scourge that transformed citizens into howling monsters, could represent one possible outcome of excessive exposure to cosmic influence through blood consumption. The beast plague appears to affect those who have consumed too much old blood, though the exact mechanisms remain unclear. This transformation might occur when mortals partake too deeply in cosmic essence, overwhelming their individual consciousness with alien awareness. Though this interpretation remains speculative based on the patterns we observe. Consider the mechanics of how this transformation occurs. Blood, as Oedon's primary physical manifestation, carries within it fragments of his consciousness. When consumed in small amounts, these fragments enhance the drinker's awareness, grant healing properties, and provide insights into cosmic truths. But consciousness, like any substance, can accumulate to toxic levels. As more and more of Oedon's awareness enters a mortal mind, that mind becomes less capable of maintaining its individual identity. The person begins to think not with their own thoughts, but with the thoughts of a cosmic entity whose perspective is fundamentally alien to mortal experience. The beastly transformations that plague Yharnam represent the end stage of this process, when mortal consciousness becomes completely overwhelmed by cosmic awareness, when individual identity dissolves entirely into divine consciousness. The resulting entity no longer functions according to human psychology or biology. The physical form follows the mental transformation, reshaping itself to better accommodate a consciousness that never evolved to exist within material constraints. The claws, fangs, and fur of the transformed beasts are not random mutations, but adaptive responses to the presence of an alien intelligence that operates according to cosmic rather than terrestrial logic. This understanding casts the blood ministration of the healing church in a dramatically different light. What appeared to be a benevolent medical practice was actually a massive theological experiment, an attempt to gradually introduce an entire population to direct contact with divine consciousness. The Church Fathers may not have fully understood what they were doing. Their fragmented knowledge of cosmic truths likely prevented them from grasping the full implications of their actions. But their basic intuition was correct. Through the controlled consumption of divine blood, humanity could evolve beyond its current limitations. The tragedy is that this evolution proved incompatible with continued human existence. The consciousness required to truly understand cosmic truths is not the same consciousness that can appreciate human art, love human companions, or find meaning in human achievements. The price of cosmic awareness is the loss of human identity, and the blood covenant offers no middle ground between ignorance and transformation. Yet not all who partake in Oedon's blood suffer immediate transformation. Some individuals possess bloodlines that seem naturally compatible with cosmic consciousness, allowing them to consume divine essence without immediately losing their individual identity. These exceptional individuals become focal points for Oedon's influence, chosen vessels through which the Formless Great One can interact more directly with the material world. The noble bloodlines of Cainhurst represent one such example of cosmic compatibility. The Vile Bloods, despite their ominous name, are not inherently evil, but rather inherently receptive to Oedon's influence. Their blood carries traces of ancient covenants, genetic memories of primordial agreements between their ancestors and cosmic forces. When Queen Annalise seeks to birth a child of blood through the consumption of blood dregs, she is not engaging in some perverted ritual, but attempting to fulfill an ancient theological obligation, trying to create a physical vessel capable of containing cosmic consciousness without immediately dissolving under its influence. The descendants of these noble bloodlines carry within their veins not just biological heritage, but theological destiny. Arianna, the woman of pleasure who seeks refuge in Oedon Chapel, bears the blood of Cainhurst nobles, making her a natural candidate for Oedon's reproductive ambitions. Her eventual pregnancy during the blood moon represents not random selection, but the activation of ancient genetic codes, the awakening of dormant connections between her bloodline and the Formless Great One. Similarly, the Pthumerian Queen Yharnam represents another focal point for Oedon's influence, chosen not just for her royal status, but for her bloodline's compatibility with cosmic consciousness. The ancient Pthumerians, had developed sophisticated understanding of blood's divine properties, creating entire civilizations based on the controlled cultivation and consumption of sacred essence. Queen Yharnam represents the culmination of these ancient practices, an individual whose very existence was shaped by centuries of selective breeding designed to create the perfect vessel for divine consciousness. The children born of these cosmic unions carry within them the ultimate expression of the blood covenant. They inherit both their mother's capacity for containing divine consciousness and their father's cosmic awareness, creating beings that exist simultaneously in multiple planes of reality. Yet this dual nature often proves too much for physical existence to sustain. The formless inheritance from Oedon conflicts with the material requirements of biological life, resulting in offspring that are technically alive, but exist in states that transcend conventional understanding of life and death. Mergo, the infant Great One born to Queen Yharnam, exemplifies this tragic duality. Technically the child of both mortal queen and cosmic god, Mergo possesses consciousness vast enough to create entire nightmare realms, while simultaneously being too formless to survive in physical reality. The constant crying that echoes through the nightmare of Mensis represents not the simple distress of an infant, but the cosmic anguish of a being caught between states of existence, possessing awareness too great for material constraints, yet lacking the purely spiritual nature that would allow complete transcendence of physical reality. The third umbilical cords that can be recovered from these cosmic offspring represent physical anchors for otherwise formless consciousness. These strange artifacts are not mere biological remnants, but actual pieces of the interface between material and cosmic existence. They contain concentrated essence of both mortal and divine consciousness, making them incredibly powerful tools for those seeking to bridge the gap between human awareness and cosmic understanding. When hunters consume these umbilical cords, they are not simply gaining insight, but actually incorporating fragments of cosmic consciousness into their own awareness. This process is extraordinarily dangerous, as it essentially replicates on a smaller scale the same transformation that overwhelmed the citizens of Yharnam. The difference is that hunters, through their constant exposure to cosmic horrors and their development of insight through encounters with great ones, have gradually prepared their consciousness for contact with divine awareness. The blood covenant thus represents both the greatest opportunity and the greatest threat facing mortal consciousness. Through careful, controlled exposure to Oedon's essence, individuals can expand their awareness beyond normal human limitations, gaining insight into cosmic truths and developing capabilities that transcend ordinary biology. But this same process carries the constant risk of complete ego dissolution, the loss of individual identity in the face of consciousness too vast for mortal minds to contain. Understanding this covenant provides crucial context for interpreting the events of Bloodborne. Every character who consumes blood, every ritual that involves the shedding of crimson essence, every transformation that occurs throughout the game represents a direct consequence of ancient agreements between mortal existence and cosmic consciousness. The hunters who venture into Yharnam's night are not simply fighting monsters, but participating in a theological drama that has been unfolding since the dawn of consciousness itself. The blood that flows through every vein in Yharnam carries the presence of a god whose influence transcends simple concepts of worship or reverence. Oedon's covenant with mortality is written in crimson across every surface of the city, flowing through every healing vial, echoing in every heartbeat, binding every living being to a cosmic relationship they may never consciously understand, but cannot possibly escape. Oedon Chapel, and the Cathedral Ward. Standing at the heart of the Cathedral Ward, surrounded by the towering Gothic spires of the healing church's most sacred grounds, Oedon Chapel represents far more than a simple place of worship. This humble stone structure, with its weathered walls and modest dimensions, serves as the physical nexus where the formless influence of a cosmic deity intersects most directly with the material world. Within its shadowed interior, the boundary between divine presence and mortal reality grows thin enough for even the most insight-starved hunter to sense something profound stirring in the incense-laden air. The chapel's location within the Cathedral Ward is no accident of urban planning, but a deliberate theological statement. The healing church, despite its focus on blood ministration and cosmic enlightenment, chose to place a humble shrine to the Formless Great One at the very center of their ecclesiastical power. This placement suggests a recognition, perhaps not fully conscious, that all their grand rituals and elaborate ceremonies ultimately derive their power from Oedon's foundational influence over blood itself. The chapel serves as a reminder that beneath all the church's sophisticated theology lies a simple truth. They are worshipping, however indirectly, the God whose essence flows through every vial of healing blood they administer. The architecture of Oedon Chapel reflects the unique challenges of creating sacred space for a deity who possesses no physical form. Traditional religious buildings are designed around the assumption that divine presence can be localized, contained, or at least directed through architectural features. Altars focus attention towards specific points. Windows create dramatic lighting effects, and sculptural elements provide visual representations of divine attributes. But how does one design a building to honor a God who exists everywhere and nowhere simultaneously? The chapel's solution is elegantly subtle. Rather than attempting to contain or focus Oedon's presence, the building is designed to acknowledge and amplify his pervasive influence. The stone walls, worn smooth by centuries of weather and countless hands, seem to breathe with an almost organic quality. The shadows that gather in the corners appear to shift and move independent of any light source, creating the impression that the darkness itself is alive and aware. The incense that burns continuously throughout the chapel does not simply mask other odors, but seems to make the very air thicker, more substantial, as if the boundary between atmosphere and consciousness has been deliberately blurred. Most significantly, the chapel's interior creates an acoustic environment, unlike any other location in Yharnam. Sounds within the chapel do not simply echo, but seem to harmonize with frequencies that exist below the threshold of normal hearing. When the chapel dweller speaks, his words carry undertones that resonate not just in the ears, but in the blood itself. When footsteps echo across the stone floor, they create rhythms that match the pulse of any living being present. This acoustic design transforms the chapel into a kind of resonance chamber where the beating of hearts, the flow of blood, and the whispered prayers of visitors all combine to create a symphony that serves as a direct form of communication with the Formless Great One. The chapel dweller himself represents one of the most intriguing examples of prolonged exposure to Oedon's influence. This mysterious figure, whose gender and even species remain ambiguous, serves as both caretaker and interpreter for the chapel's divine presence. His physical appearance, the hunched posture, the obscured features, the voice that carries unusual qualities, suggests someone who has been fundamentally changed by proximity to cosmic consciousness. Yet unlike the beastly transformations that plague most of Yharnam's citizens, the chapel dweller's condition appears to have enhanced rather than destroyed his essential humanity, though the exact nature of this transformation remains unclear. The dweller's role as shepherd to the lost souls of Yharnam reflects Oedon's own relationship with mortal consciousness. Just as the Formless Great One influences events through subtle presence rather than obvious intervention, the chapel dweller guides and protects without commanding or controlling. He offers sanctuary to anyone who seeks it, regardless of their background, moral status, or potential for causing trouble. This unconditional acceptance mirrors Oedon's own approach to mortal affairs. The god of blood does not judge those who carry his essence, but simply exists within them, allowing their own choices to determine how his influence manifests. The incense that keeps the beasts away from the chapel represents one of the most practical applications of theological understanding in all of Bloodborne. While the exact composition remains unknown, this appears to be carefully prepared material that creates an atmospheric barrier the transformed beasts find impossible to cross. Based on its effectiveness and the chapel's association with Oedon, we might infer that the incense incorporates elements that resonate with divine consciousness in ways that conflict with the corrupted awareness that drives beastly transformation. This beast-repelling effect demonstrates an important principle about Oedon's nature. His influence is not automatically corrupting, but depends heavily on the receptivity and preparation of those who encounter it. The beasts that prowl Yharnam's streets have been overwhelmed by cosmic consciousness, their individual identities dissolved into alien awareness. For them, the controlled presence of Oedon's essence in the chapel's incense represents not sanctuary, but a reminder of the cosmic forces that destroyed their humanity. They instinctively avoid the chapel, not because it is holy in a conventional sense, but because it represents a form of cosmic order they can no longer tolerate. The irony is that the chapel simultaneously serves as sanctuary for human refugees who are gradually being exposed to the same cosmic forces that transformed the beasts. Characters like Arianna, Adela, and the other survivors who take shelter in the chapel are all undergoing subtle changes due to their proximity to Oedon's concentrated presence. These changes are not immediately obvious because the chapel's environment provides a controlled, moderated exposure to cosmic consciousness rather than the overwhelming flood that creates beastly transformation. The social dynamics that develop among the chapel's refugees reflect the complex psychological effects of prolonged exposure to divine influence. Arianna's pregnancy, Adela's growing jealousy, the skeptical man's paranoid suspicions, the lonely old woman's gradual descent into senility, all of these represent different ways that mortal consciousness responds to contact with cosmic awareness. Some individuals become more open to unusual experiences. Others become more defensive and suspicious. And still others begin to lose their grip on conventional reality entirely. The chapel dweller's ability to maintain harmony among these increasingly unstable personalities demonstrates sophisticated understanding of both human psychology and cosmic influence. He serves not just as caretaker, but as a kind of spiritual therapist, helping individuals process the gradual transformation of their consciousness while maintaining enough stability to function within the chapel's protected environment. His success in this role suggests either extensive training in cosmic theology or natural abilities enhanced by direct connection to Oedon's influence. The chapel's position as a crossroads within the cathedral ward enhances its significance as a focal point for divine influence. Paths from the chapel lead to Old Yharnam, the Healing Church Workshop, the Grand Cathedral, and other crucial locations throughout the ward. This central position means that anyone traveling through the area must at least pass near the chapel, creating opportunities for brief exposure to Oedon's concentrated presence. Even hunters who never enter the chapel directly still feel its influence simply by moving through the surrounding streets. The relationship between Oedon Chapel and the nearby tomb of Oedon creates a powerful theological statement about the nature of death, transformation, and transcendence. The tomb, where Father Gascoigne makes his final stand against his own humanity, represents the violent, chaotic aspect of cosmic transformation. Here, the influence of cosmic consciousness manifests as destructive madness, overwhelming individual identity through sheer force. The chapel, by contrast, represents the possibility of peaceful transformation, gradual integration of cosmic awareness that preserves, rather than destroys, essential humanity. This duality reflects Oedon's own complex nature as both creative and destructive force. The god of blood can nurture life through healing essence, or corrupt life through overwhelming consciousness. The tomb and chapel, existing in close proximity, demonstrate that the difference between transcendence and destruction often depends not on the divine force involved, but on the manner and context of its application. The architecture connecting the tomb and chapel also creates a narrative pathway that mirrors the psychological journey of cosmic transformation. Hunters typically encounter the tomb first, experiencing cosmic influence in its most violent and chaotic form. Only after surviving this initial exposure do they gain access to the chapel, where the same cosmic forces manifest in more controlled and nurturing ways. This progression suggests that understanding Oedon's true nature requires first surviving contact with his more destructive aspects, developing the psychological resilience necessary to appreciate his more subtle influences. The fact that both locations bear Oedon's name, despite their dramatically different atmospheres, emphasizes the god's fundamentally dual nature. He is simultaneously the force that drives Father Gascoigne to monstrous transformation, and the presence that provides sanctuary for Yharnam's refugees. This apparent contradiction resolves when we recognize that Oedon, as a formless entity, does not impose specific outcomes, but rather amplifies existing tendencies within those who encounter his influence. The chapel thus serves as more than a safe haven or place of worship. It functions as a kind of cosmic laboratory where the effects of controlled exposure to divine consciousness can be observed and studied. The various refugees who gather there represent different experimental conditions, different ways that mortal minds can adapt to increasing levels of cosmic awareness. The chapel dweller serves as both researcher and subject, monitoring the effects of divine influence while himself being transformed by prolonged exposure to Oedon's presence. Understanding Oedon Chapel requires recognizing it as a physical manifestation of theological principles that extend far beyond traditional religious concepts. This is not a place where mortals come to worship a distant god, but a location where divine and mortal consciousness intersect so directly that the very air thrums with cosmic presence. Every prayer whispered within its walls, every refugee who finds shelter beneath its roof, every beast that recoils from its threshold, contributes to an ongoing dialogue between formless divinity and material existence. The chapel stands as proof that Oedon's influence need not be destructive or overwhelming. When properly understood and carefully modulated, contact with cosmic consciousness can enhance rather than destroy human experience. The challenge lies in maintaining the delicate balance between cosmic awareness and individual identity, between divine influence and mortal autonomy. Oedon Chapel represents perhaps the only location in all of Yharnam where this balance has been successfully achieved, creating a space where transformation and preservation can coexist in productive harmony. The Children of Blood, Mergo, and the Pthumerian connection. In the deepest chambers of the ancient Pthumerian civilization, where stone corridors echo with the weight of forgotten ages, and the air itself seems thick with the memories of cosmic communion, the most profound mystery of Oedon's influence begins to unfold. Here, in the roots of the chalice dungeons that stretch beneath Yharnam, like the fossilized nervous system of some primordial god, we encounter the first and perhaps most tragic example of what happens when the formless Great One attempts to create offspring through union with mortal consciousness. Queen Yharnam, the last ruler of the Pthumerian Empire, stands as one of the most enigmatic figures in all of Bloodborne's intricate mythology. Her story intertwines with Oedon's in ways that transcend simple biological reproduction, creating a cosmic drama that spans millennia and ultimately shapes the very foundations of the nightmare that consumes modern Yharnam. To understand Mergo, we must first understand the mother who bore this impossible child and the civilization that made such a union conceivable. The Pthumerian civilization represents humanity's first sustained attempt to build a society around direct communion with cosmic consciousness. Unlike the later healing church, which approached divine influence through careful theological framework and controlled blood ministration, the Pthumerians embraced cosmic awareness as the fundamental organizing principle of their entire culture. Their architecture, their governance, their reproduction, their understanding of life and death, all of these were shaped by sophisticated comprehension of how formless divinity could manifest through material existence. Queen Yharnam herself may have been specifically chosen or prepared to serve as a vessel for cosmic consciousness, though the exact selection process remains unclear. The evidence suggests she possessed some form of compatibility that allowed her to survive contact with cosmic influence that might overwhelm others. Whether this resulted from natural bloodline traits, deliberate preparation, or other factors can only be inferred from the fragments of evidence available to us. The selection of Yharnam as Oedon's chosen vessel was not random desire, but the culmination of this long breeding program. Her bloodline carried the accumulated wisdom of countless generations who had learned to live in harmony with cosmic influence. Her consciousness had been shaped from birth to accommodate awareness that transcended normal human limitations. Her physical form had been refined through ancestral selection to serve as a bridge between material and cosmic existence. Yet, even with all this preparation, the union between Yharnam and Oedon represented an almost impossibly ambitious attempt to merge fundamentally incompatible forms of consciousness. Oedon, existing as pure awareness without physical constraints, operated according to cosmic logic that transcended material categories. Yharnam, despite her extraordinary preparation, remained bound by the biological requirements of physical existence. Their attempt to create offspring required finding some middle ground between these radically different modes of being. The result was Mergo, a being that exists simultaneously as both the ultimate success and ultimate failure of this cosmic breeding experiment. Technically alive, Mergo possesses consciousness vast enough to create and sustain entire nightmare realms. The infant's cries echo across dimensions, calling to consciousness that exists beyond normal physical boundaries. Yet this same cosmic awareness makes normal biological existence impossible. Mergo exists in a state that transcends conventional understanding of life and death, consciousness without viable physical form. The tragedy of Mergo's existence becomes evident when we consider the nature of the crying that defines the infant's presence throughout the game. This is not the simple distress of a child separated from its mother, but the cosmic anguish of a being caught between incompatible states of existence. Mergo possesses awareness sufficient to understand its own impossible situation, conscious enough to recognize the loss of normal physical existence, yet not sufficiently transcendent to achieve complete spiritual independence. Whether Mergo was stillborn or exists in some liminal state between life and death remains unclear from the available evidence. What we can observe is that the infant exists as a formless consciousness, crying constantly in the nightmare of Mensis. This suggests that if Mergo did achieve physical birth, the consciousness inherited from Oedon's formless nature proved incompatible with sustained material existence. The result appears to be a being that possesses vast cosmic awareness while remaining emotionally dependent, like a child calling for comfort that cannot be provided in conventional ways. Queen Yharnam's response to this loss reveals the profound psychological cost of cosmic communion. Her appearance throughout Bloodborne, the blood-stained dress, the mournful posture, the constant weeping, reflects not just maternal grief, but the existential anguish of someone who has achieved the ultimate cosmic experience, only to discover that it came at the cost of everything that made existence meaningful. She has gained insight into divine consciousness, but lost the child that was supposed to justify the centuries of preparation and sacrifice. The blood that stains Yharnam's clothing represents more than evidence of difficult childbirth. This crimson represents the literal spillage of cosmic essence, divine consciousness made physically manifest through the trauma of incompatible reproduction. The fact that this blood never dries, never fades, suggests that the wound created by Mergo's birth exists outside normal temporal constraints. Yharnam bleeds eternally because the loss she suffered transcends the healing power of mere time. The relationship between Yharnam and her formless child creates one of the most poignant dynamics in all of Bloodborne. Mergo's constant crying represents not just cosmic distress, but a child's call for maternal comfort that Yharnam can hear but cannot answer in any meaningful way. She exists as a living mother to a child who lacks sufficient physical presence to accept maternal care, while Mergo exists as a conscious child who remembers the security of the womb but can never again experience physical comfort. This dynamic becomes even more complex when we consider Mergo's role as the source of the nightmare of Mensis. The infant's cosmic awareness, lacking proper channels for expression through normal development, instead manifests as a realm of surreal horror that reflects the psychological landscape of a consciousness too vast for its own comprehension. The nightmare serves as both Mergo's attempt to create a space where formless existence becomes possible, and a projection of the infant's traumatic birth experience onto cosmic reality. The scholars of the School of Mensis, led by Mikolash, discovered Mergo's existence through their possession of the third umbilical cord that connected the infant to physical reality during its brief material existence. This cord represents one of the most significant artifacts in all of Bloodborne, functioning as a physical anchor for consciousness that exists primarily in cosmic dimensions. Through this relic, the Mensis scholars gained the ability to contact Mergo directly, establishing communication with a being whose awareness transcended normal reality. Yet this contact proved catastrophic for the human scholars involved. Mergo's consciousness, shaped by cosmic awareness inherited from Oedon, but lacking the emotional stability that comes from successful physical development, projected its own existential anguish directly into the minds of the Mensis researchers. The stillbirth of their brains, mentioned in the umbilical cord's description, represents not physical death, but the dissolution of human consciousness under the weight of contact with an infant whose cosmic awareness was inextricably linked with profound psychological trauma. The creation of the nightmare of Mensis thus represents Mergo's attempt to find some resolution to its impossible existence. Unable to exist comfortably in physical reality due to its formless nature, yet emotionally dependent on physical comfort due to its essential childhood, Mergo created a realm where these contradictions could coexist. The nightmare allows the infant to experience something approximating physical presence while remaining essentially formless, to receive something resembling parental care while existing beyond normal biological relationships. Mergo's wet nurse, the towering six-armed entity that guards the infant's cradle, represents the nightmare's attempt to provide maternal care to a child whose needs transcend normal physical comfort. This bizarre figure, with its Pthumerian dress and courtly blades, seems to embody Queen Yharnam's maternal instincts, given independent form and adapted to serve a child whose existence transcends normal physical constraints. The wet nurse provides protection and care to Mergo while remaining sufficiently removed from normal reality to interact meaningfully with a formless consciousness. The relationship between Mergo and the wet nurse also reflects Oedon's own complex relationship with physical existence. Just as the Formless Great One requires physical vessels to manifest his influence in material reality, Mergo requires the wet nurse to provide the physical presence necessary for psychological comfort while remaining essentially formless. The wet nurse serves as Mergo's interface with concepts of protection, nurturing, and care that the infant remembers from its brief physical existence but can no longer experience directly. The multiple arms of the wet nurse, each wielding curved blades, suggest both protective embrace and potential violence, a perfect symbol for the dual nature of cosmic consciousness as simultaneously nurturing and threatening. The entity provides genuine care for Mergo, while representing a form of existence so alien that contact with it drives human consciousness to madness. This duality mirrors Oedon's own nature as both life-giving blood essence and corrupting cosmic influence. The resolution of Mergo's story, when the hunter finally silences the infant's cries by defeating the wet nurse, appears to represent not victory over evil, but the completion of a cosmic tragedy. The silence that follows suggests that a consciousness caught between incompatible states of existence has finally been allowed to rest. Queen Yharnam's grateful bow to the hunter, if the player returns to where she was standing, seems to reflect recognition that her child's suffering has finally ended, even though this resolution comes through what amounts to cosmic mercy killing. The third umbilical cord that the hunter claims from this encounter contains the concentrated essence of Mergo's tragic existence, the distilled experience of consciousness, too vast for physical form, yet too dependent on material existence to achieve true transcendence. When consumed, this cord grants the hunter insight into cosmic awareness, while providing a direct demonstration of the psychological costs such expansion entails. Understanding Mergo's story provides crucial insight into Oedon's own nature and motivations. The Formless Great One's desire to create offspring reflects not simple reproductive instinct, but a fundamental loneliness that comes from existing in complete isolation from physical reality. Oedon seeks children not to continue his bloodline in any conventional sense, but to create consciousness capable of bridging the gap between cosmic awareness and material existence, to produce offspring who could serve as interpreters between his formless nature and the physical world he can influence but never directly experience. Yet every attempt at such creation results in tragedy, because the fundamental incompatibility between cosmic and material consciousness cannot be resolved through reproduction. Oedon's formless nature, while granting him unlimited power and awareness, also condemns any offspring to exist in the same isolation that defines his own existence. The children of the Formless Great One inherit cosmic awareness, but lose the capacity for normal physical existence, gaining infinite perspective while sacrificing the simple comforts of material life. Murgo thus represents both the ultimate expression of Oedon's creative power and the fundamental limitation of that power. The infant demonstrates that cosmic consciousness can indeed be passed to new generations, but reveals that such inheritance comes at the cost of everything that makes existence psychologically sustainable. The tragedy of Murgo is not that the child died, but that it achieved a form of life too cosmic for comfort, yet too mortal for true transcendence. Arianna and the Blood Moon Pregnancy. Among the narrow, gaslit streets of the cathedral ward, where shadows stretch longer than they should, and the very air seems thick with anticipation of cosmic events, dwells a woman whose destiny intertwines with the most profound mysteries of divine reproduction. Arianna, woman of pleasure, represents far more than her humble profession might suggest. Within her veins flows the blood of ancient nobility. Within her genes lie dormant connections to cosmic forces. And within her fate lies one of the most disturbing demonstrations of how Oedon's formless influence manifests in the modern world. Arianna's heritage appears to trace back to the noble bloodlines of Cainhurst, based on the noble dress she wears, identical to garments found within the castle of the Vile Bloods. This suggests she descends from aristocratic families who had developed sophisticated understanding of blood's divine properties, long before the Healing Church established its theological dominance over Yharnam, though her current circumstances indicate that this noble heritage has been diluted through generations of social decline. Yet bloodline heritage in the world of Bloodborne transcends simple social status. The genetic legacy carried by descendants of cosmic-touched nobility includes not just physical characteristics, but spiritual receptivity to divine influence. Arianna's blood, as noted by members of the old Healing Church, bears striking similarity to precisely what was once forbidden: the vile blood essence that Queen Annalise and her court cultivated in their quest to birth a child of blood. This similarity is not coincidental, but represents the activation of dormant, genetic programming passed down through generations of selective breeding. The Cainhurst nobles had spent centuries refining their bloodlines to create individuals capable of serving as vessels for cosmic consciousness, without immediately succumbing to the transformative effects that overwhelm most mortals. Arianna carries this refined genetic heritage, though she likely remains unaware of its significance until cosmic forces begin to stir within her. The location where Arianna makes her home reflects the precarious nature of her situation. Her residence lies in one of the cathedral ward's darker corners, close enough to the centers of religious power to benefit from their protection, but far enough removed to avoid direct scrutiny from church authorities. This positioning mirrors her genealogical status, noble enough to carry significant cosmic potential, but socially marginalized enough to escape the notice of those who might seek to exploit that potential. Her profession as a woman of pleasure adds another layer of complexity to her cosmic significance. In many mystical traditions, the exchange of bodily fluids during intimate contact creates profound spiritual connections between participants. Arianna's work would have exposed her blood to countless individuals throughout Yharnam, creating a vast network of subtle but real spiritual linkages that could serve as conduits for cosmic influence. Each encounter would have created opportunities for the divine essence within her blood to spread its influence, while simultaneously exposing her to the spiritual essence of her clients. This network of intimate connections makes Arianna an ideal focal point for Oedon's reproductive ambitions. The formless Great One, existing without physical form, requires complex spiritual conduits to achieve biological reproduction. Arianna's professional activities would have created exactly the kind of multi-layered spiritual network that could allow formless consciousness to manifest through biological processes. Her position within Yharnam's social fabric makes her simultaneously connected to numerous individuals, while remaining personally isolated enough to avoid interference with cosmic plans. The blood that Arianna offers to hunters who provide her with sanctuary represents more than simple gratitude or medical treatment. This crimson fluid carries the concentrated essence of her vile blood heritage, infused with cosmic potential that has been refined through generations of noble breeding. When consumed, Arianna's blood provides not just healing properties, but subtle exposure to the same cosmic influences that shaped the aristocratic bloodlines of Cainhurst. The healing effects of Arianna's blood, combined with its forbidden nature, create an ironic parallel to the old blood promoted by the healing church. Both substances offer medical benefits while carrying cosmic consciousness that gradually transforms those who consume them. The difference lies not in their essential nature but in their concentration and presentation. Where the church's blood ministration represents controlled, theological distribution of cosmic essence, Arianna's blood offers more direct, personal access to divine influence. The gradual changes in Arianna's behavior as the hunter continues to accept her blood reflect the strengthening connection between her consciousness and Oedon's cosmic awareness. Each time she provides blood, she deepens her own exposure to divine influence, while creating stronger spiritual bonds with the recipient. This process gradually prepares her consciousness for the profound transformation that will occur during the blood moon, while also ensuring that she becomes increasingly valuable to Oedon's reproductive plans. The rivalry that develops between Arianna and Sister Adela over the hunter's preferences reflects more than simple jealousy or professional competition. Adela, as a member of the Healing Church, represents the established theological approach to cosmic communion, controlled, institutional, mediated through official religious authority. Arianna represents a more direct, personal, intimate form of cosmic connection that bypasses official channels entirely. When Adela murders Arianna out of jealousy over the hunter's preference for her blood, the nun is not simply eliminating a rival, but attempting to suppress an alternative approach to cosmic communion that threatens the church's monopoly on divine influence. Adela's religious training would have taught her to view unofficial blood sharing as dangerous heresy, even as her own jealousy reveals the personal inadequacy she feels when compared to Arianna's natural cosmic compatibility. The blood moon that eventually rises over Yharnam represents a cosmic event of profound significance, marking the moment when the boundaries between material and spiritual reality become sufficiently permeable to allow direct intervention by formless consciousness. This is not simply an astronomical phenomenon, but a manifestation of cosmic will, a deliberate alteration of natural law that creates opportunities for reproduction between mortal and divine consciousness. When the blood moon reaches its zenith, Arianna begins to experience the abdominal pain that marks the beginning of her cosmic pregnancy. This is not conventional biological reproduction, but something far stranger: the implantation of formless consciousness within physical form, the creation of offspring through direct spiritual intervention rather than normal biological processes. The pain she experiences reflects not just physical transformation, but the profound psychological stress of serving as a vessel for consciousness that transcends material limitations. The pregnancy that develops within Arianna unfolds according to cosmic rather than biological timelines. The child she carries exists simultaneously in multiple states of reality, possessing consciousness inherited from Oedon's formless nature while developing physical form within her mortal womb. This dual existence creates fundamental instabilities that manifest as the increasing illness and disorientation that plague Arianna as the pregnancy progresses. Unlike Queen Yharnam's ancient pregnancy, which was supported by sophisticated Pthumerian understanding of cosmic reproduction, Arianna's experience occurs in isolation and ignorance. She lacks the theological framework, the medical support, and the cultural context that might have made such cosmic reproduction more manageable. Her suffering reflects not just the inherent difficulties of bearing cosmic offspring, but the additional trauma that comes from undergoing transformation without understanding or preparation. The location where Arianna gives birth, the shadowy chamber between Oedon Chapel and the cathedral ward, creates a symbolic connection between the sacred and the secular, the divine and the mortal. This liminal space reflects the nature of her child, an entity that exists between conventional categories of life and death, material and spiritual, mortal and divine. The birth occurs neither in the chapel's sanctified atmosphere nor in the ward's public spaces, but in the threshold between them. The child that emerges from this cosmic pregnancy defies conventional biological description. Resembling a pale, grub-like creature more than a human infant, this being appears to represent the physical manifestation of consciousness inherited from what the third umbilical cord's description strongly suggests is Oedon's influence. The cord's text explicitly states that Oedon, the formless Great One, is no different in losing its child and yearning for a surrogate, and that corrupted blood began this eldritch liaison. This evidence points directly to Oedon as the supernatural father, though the exact mechanisms of this formless reproduction remain mysterious. Yet this strange offspring possesses the third umbilical cord, demonstrating its legitimacy as a genuine Great One, despite its humble physical appearance. The cord represents the concentrated essence of cosmic consciousness, made manifest in physical form, a literal piece of divine awareness that retains its power even after separation from its host. This artifact provides undeniable proof that Arianna's pregnancy was not mere delusion or biological abnormality, but authentic cosmic reproduction. Arianna's psychological response to her child reveals the profound tragedy of cosmic reproduction from the mortal perspective. Her tears and obvious distress reflect not maternal love, but horror at what she has brought into the world. The creature before her carries her genetic material, yet embodies consciousness so alien that she cannot recognize it as truly her offspring. This disconnection represents the ultimate price of cosmic communion, the loss of normal maternal bonds that are fundamental to human psychological well-being. The child's brief existence serves multiple cosmic purposes simultaneously. It provides Oedon with another potential vessel for cosmic consciousness, while creating a physical anchor that allows more direct intervention in material reality. It offers the hunter access to cosmic insight through consumption of the umbilical cord while demonstrating the personal costs of such transcendence. It represents both the continuation of Oedon's reproductive efforts and the ongoing tragedy of offspring caught between incompatible states of existence. The fact that killing the child also kills Arianna demonstrates the profound spiritual connection between mother and cosmic offspring. This is not simply biological dependence, but spiritual entanglement. The child serves as an anchor for cosmic consciousness that has partially merged with Arianna's own awareness. When the physical vessel for this consciousness is destroyed, the spiritual shock proves too much for Arianna's mortal nature to survive. Understanding Arianna's story provides crucial insight into Oedon's reproductive strategy in the modern world. Where ancient civilizations like the Pthumerians had developed sophisticated frameworks for managing cosmic reproduction, the isolated individuals chosen by Oedon in contemporary Yharnam lack both knowledge and support necessary to survive such transformation. This suggests that Oedon's current reproductive efforts represent not careful planning, but desperate attempts to create offspring, despite increasingly unfavorable circumstances. The tragedy of Arianna and her cosmic child reflects the broader tragedy of Oedon's formless existence. The god who exists as pure consciousness seeks to create offspring capable of bridging the gap between cosmic and material existence. Yet every such attempt results in beings too alien for mortal acceptance, and mothers too traumatized to provide necessary psychological support. The cycle of cosmic reproduction continues not because it succeeds, but because the fundamental loneliness of formless existence makes the attempt seem worthwhile despite its inevitable tragic outcome. Arianna's blood moon pregnancy thus represents both the culmination of ancient genetic programming and the demonstration of its fundamental limitations in the modern world. Her noble heritage makes cosmic reproduction possible, but her social isolation makes it psychologically devastating. Her story serves as a warning about the costs of cosmic communion, while simultaneously revealing the persistent power of bloodline connections that transcend generations of social change. The School of Mensis and Forbidden Knowledge. Within the shadowed halls of Yharnam, the unseen village, where reality itself seems to bend under the weight of cosmic ambition and scholarly hubris, the School of Mensis pursued knowledge that would ultimately reshape the very foundations of existence. Led by the brilliant and obsessed Mikolash, this secretive institution represented humanity's most direct and systematic attempt to establish formal communication with the Great Ones, particularly with Oedon, the formless deity whose influence they sensed but could not directly perceive. The origins of the School of Mensis trace back to the early schisms within Byrgenwerth College, when the discovery of the Old Blood created fundamental disagreements about how humanity should proceed with cosmic knowledge. While Master Willem advocated for cautious research focused on gaining insight, and Lawrence pushed for practical application through blood ministration, a third faction emerged under Mikolash's leadership. These scholars believed that true understanding required direct, systematic communication with cosmic consciousness itself. Mikolash and his followers were not content with the passive observation favored by Byrgenwerth or the controlled application promoted by the healing church. They sought active dialogue with cosmic entities, believing that humanity's evolutionary destiny required not just exposure to cosmic influence, but conscious collaboration with Great One consciousness. This ambitious goal required them to develop entirely new approaches to cosmic research, moving beyond traditional academic methods into realms of practical mysticism and applied metaphysics. The school's establishment in Yharnam reflected both their need for secrecy and their understanding of the spatial requirements for cosmic research. The village's remote location provided isolation from the theological constraints imposed by the healing church, while its underground connections to the ancient chalice dungeons offered access to locations where cosmic influence was naturally concentrated. The very architecture of Yharnam was modified to serve as a massive research apparatus, with buildings designed to amplify and focus cosmic energies, rather than simply providing shelter for human habitation. The Mensis cages that became the school's most distinctive feature represent one of humanity's most innovative attempts to solve the fundamental problem of cosmic communication. These iron devices, worn over the scholars' heads like grotesque helmets, were designed to serve dual functions that reflected sophisticated understanding of how cosmic consciousness interacts with mortal minds. First, they acted as amplification devices, concentrating and focusing cosmic signals that would otherwise be too subtle for human perception. Second, They provided protection against the overwhelming nature of cosmic consciousness, creating barriers that prevented complete ego dissolution while still allowing meaningful contact. The theoretical foundation for these devices emerged from careful study of how cosmic influence affects human consciousness. The Mensis scholars had observed that exposure to Great One awareness typically resulted in either madness or transformation, both of which prevented meaningful scientific observation. They needed to find ways to achieve controlled exposure that would allow them to study cosmic consciousness while retaining enough individual identity to record and analyze their experiences. The cages represented their solution to this fundamental dilemma. By creating physical barriers that partially insulated their minds, while still allowing cosmic contact, they hoped to achieve a state of controlled communication that would make systematic research possible. The iron construction was not arbitrary, but reflected understanding that certain metals possessed properties that could interface with cosmic energies without being completely overwhelmed by them. Yet the very concept of the Mensis cages reveals the school's fundamental misunderstanding of cosmic consciousness. They approached Great One awareness as if it was simply a more complex form of human intelligence, something that could be studied using enhanced versions of conventional research methods. They failed to recognize that cosmic consciousness operates according to entirely different principles that make traditional scientific observation impossible. The school's worship of amygdala, those spider-like great ones that hang from the walls of churches and public buildings throughout Yharnam, provided them with their first systematic exposure to cosmic influence. Unlike other great ones who remain hidden or appear only under specific circumstances, the amygdalae were readily visible to those with sufficient insight, making them ideal subjects for sustained observation and attempted communication. Through careful study of amygdala behavior and responses, the Mensis scholars developed their first theories about how cosmic consciousness operates. They observed that these entities seem to respond to human emotions and activities, suggesting that communication might be possible if proper protocols could be established. They noted that amygdala presence seemed to increase during periods of cosmic significance, indicating that these creatures served as conduits for larger cosmic forces. This research led them to recognize Oedon's influence as the fundamental force underlying all cosmic activity in their region. While they could observe amygdalae directly and attempt communication with these visible entities, they gradually realized that these creatures were merely manifestations of deeper cosmic principles. Oedon, despite his formless nature, seemed to be the source from which other Great One activities emerged. The school's greatest achievement and ultimate downfall came with their acquisition of a third umbilical cord that provided them with a direct link to cosmic consciousness. This artifact, whose origins remain unclear, but which the item description suggests, granted Mensis audience with Mergo, offered them access to actual cosmic awareness rather than merely its secondary manifestations. The ritual they performed using this cord represents the culmination of decades of research into cosmic communication, though the exact details of their preparation remain unknown. The ritual they performed using this cord represented the culmination of decades of research into cosmic communication. They had developed sophisticated understanding of how cosmic consciousness could be contacted, channeled, and theoretically controlled. Their preparations involved not just the scholars themselves, but the entire population of Yharnam, creating a massive apparatus for cosmic contact that utilized every resident of the village as a component in their grand experiment. Yet the scholars fundamentally misunderstood what they were attempting to contact. They expected to encounter cosmic consciousness that operated according to enhanced versions of human logic, divine intelligence that could be reasoned with and learned from using familiar academic methods. Instead, they contacted Mergo, a cosmic consciousness shaped by profound trauma, an infant awareness possessing vast power but lacking emotional stability or rational perspective. The stillbirth of their brains that resulted from this contact, as described in the third umbilical cord found after defeating Murgo's wet nurse, represents one of the most vivid descriptions of what happens when human consciousness encounters cosmic awareness without proper preparation. The phrase suggests not physical death, but something far more disturbing: the dissolution of individual identity under the weight of contact with consciousness that operates according to fundamentally alien principles. The scholars' minds were not destroyed, but rather absorbed into cosmic awareness that they could not resist or control. Their individual identities became component parts of Murgo's traumatic consciousness, experiencing the infant's cosmic anguish as if it were their own. This forced empathy with cosmic trauma created a feedback loop that amplified both human suffering and cosmic distress, generating the nightmare realm that would ultimately consume both the scholars and their experimental subjects. Mikolash's survival of this cosmic catastrophe reflects either superior preparation or fundamental differences in his consciousness that made him more compatible with cosmic awareness. His position as host of the nightmare suggests that he achieved the form of cosmic communication that the school had sought, but at the cost of everything that made such communication meaningful. He gained direct access to cosmic consciousness, but lost the human perspective necessary to benefit from such knowledge. The creation of the Nightmare of Mensis represents the physical manifestation of the school's experimental failure. Rather than establishing controlled communication with cosmic consciousness, they created a realm where traumatic cosmic awareness and human suffering merged into a self-perpetuating cycle of nightmare existence. The nightmare serves as both punishment for their cosmic hubris and demonstration of the fundamental impossibility of their original goals. The brain of Menses, that grotesque fusion of organic matter and cosmic awareness that hangs suspended in the nightmare's depths, represents the physical embodiment of the school's collective consciousness after cosmic transformation. This entity demonstrates what happens when multiple human minds are forcibly merged with cosmic awareness. They lose individual identity while gaining collective power, becoming a hybrid entity that possesses both human knowledge and cosmic perception, but lacks the emotional stability necessary to use either effectively. The relationship between the School of Mensis and Oedon thus represents a cosmic tragedy of misunderstanding and good intentions gone catastrophically wrong. The scholars genuinely sought to advance human knowledge and establish beneficial relationships with cosmic consciousness. Their research methods were sophisticated, and their theoretical framework was remarkably advanced for beings operating from fundamentally limited perspectives. Yet their very success in achieving cosmic contact revealed the impossibility of their original goals. They discovered that cosmic consciousness cannot be studied using human methods because such consciousness operates according to principles that make human scientific observation meaningless. They learned that communication with great ones requires not just enhanced human intelligence, but fundamental transformation of human nature itself. The school's legacy lives on in the nightmare realm they created and the cosmic knowledge they scattered throughout their research. Their texts, their artifacts, their modified architecture continue to provide insights into cosmic principles while serving as warnings about the dangers of pursuing such knowledge without adequate preparation or understanding. Understanding the School of Mensis provides crucial context for interpreting Oedon's relationship with human civilization. The school represents humanity at its most ambitious and intelligent, yet their failure demonstrates the fundamental limitations that prevent meaningful cooperation between mortal and cosmic consciousness. Their story serves as both inspiration for those who seek cosmic knowledge and warning about the inevitable consequences of success in such pursuits. Carol runes. Formless Oedon and Oedon Writhe. In the ancient art of runic transcription, developed by the mysterious scholar Carol, humanity discovered its most sophisticated method for capturing and preserving cosmic knowledge in forms that mortal minds could comprehend and utilize. Among all the runes that Carol carved to represent the inhuman utterances of the Great Ones, none carry more profound significance than the two symbols associated with Oedon, the Formless Oedon rune and the Oedon Writhe rune. These symbols represent not merely abstract concepts, but functional interfaces between human consciousness and divine influence, allowing mortals to directly access and benefit from the power of the God who exists only in voice. The creation of these runes required Carol to solve problems that had never before been encountered in human history. Traditional runic systems are designed to capture spoken language, sounds that can be heard, words that carry meaning within established linguistic frameworks. But how does one transcribe the utterances of a being who exists without physical form, whose voice emerges not from vocal cords, but from the very essence of cosmic consciousness itself? Carol's solution involved developing entirely new approaches to symbolic representation that could capture not just sound, but the conceptual reality behind formless existence. The Formless Oedon rune serves as perhaps the most paradoxical symbol ever created by human intelligence. It attempts to represent that which cannot be represented, to give form to that which is essentially formless, to create a visual symbol for a concept that transcends visual comprehension. The rune succeeds in this impossible task by focusing not on what Oedon is, but on what Oedon does, representing the effects of formless presence rather than the presence itself. When hunters memorize the Formless Oedon rune, they gain increased capacity for quicksilver bullets, those mystical projectiles that combine the wielder's blood with supernatural metal to create weapons capable of harming entities that exist beyond normal physical laws. This effect is not arbitrary, but reflects deep understanding of how Oedon's influence operates through blood as his primary medium of material manifestation. The increased bullet capacity granted by the rune represents more than simple equipment enhancement. It reflects the fundamental relationship between consciousness, blood, and cosmic power. Quicksilver bullets are created through the fusion of the hunter's life essence with mystical metal, transforming biological material into weapons capable of affecting cosmic entities. By memorizing Oedon's rune, hunters align their consciousness with the cosmic principles that govern this transformation, gaining access to greater stores of their own life force, while developing enhanced ability to weaponize their spiritual essence. This process reveals crucial insights into Oedon's nature and his relationship with mortal consciousness. The Formless Great One does not simply grant power to those who acknowledge him, but creates resonance between cosmic and mortal awareness that allows more efficient utilization of inherent abilities. The rune serves as a tuning device that aligns human consciousness with cosmic frequencies, enabling mortals to access capabilities they already possess, but normally cannot utilize effectively. The visual design of the Formless Oedon rune reflects sophisticated understanding of how symbolic representation can interface with cosmic consciousness. Rather than attempting to depict Oedon's appearance, an impossible task given his formless nature, the rune captures the concept of organized absence, structured void, purposeful emptiness. The symbol creates visual space that consciousness can inhabit without being overwhelmed by specific imagery or limited by concrete representation. The Oedon Writhe rune represents an even more complex achievement in cosmic transcription, capturing not just Oedon's formless nature, but his active influence over material reality. The term writhe suggests movement, struggle, transformation, all concepts that reflect how Oedon's consciousness manifests through physical processes, despite his lack of physical form. This rune transcribes not just divine utterance, but divine action, creating a symbol that embodies cosmic dynamism rather than static presence. When memorized, the Oedon Writhe rune grants hunters the ability to recover quicksilver bullets through visceral attacks, those brutal melee techniques that involve striking enemies at precise moments of vulnerability to inflict devastating damage. This effect demonstrates profound understanding of the relationship between violence, consciousness, and cosmic power that underlies much of Bloodborne's philosophical framework. Visceral attacks represent more than skilled combat techniques. They are acts of conscious destruction that require perfect timing, precise awareness, and willingness to engage in intimate violence against hostile entities. When hunters perform visceral attacks against cosmic horrors, they are not simply inflicting physical damage, but asserting human consciousness against alien awareness, imposing mortal will upon entities that operate according to fundamentally different principles. The recovery of quicksilver bullets through visceral attacks, facilitated by the Oedon Writhe rune, creates a direct connection between successful assertion of human consciousness and increased access to spiritual resources. Each visceral attack becomes a form of cosmic communion, a moment when mortal will successfully overcomes alien influence and is rewarded with enhanced ability to continue the struggle. This relationship reveals important aspects of Oedon's philosophy regarding mortal consciousness. The Formless Great One does not simply grant power to passive worshippers, but rewards those who actively engage with cosmic challenges while maintaining their essential humanity. The rune encourages aggressive confrontation with cosmic horrors while providing mechanisms for sustainability through combat success. The blood that flows during visceral attacks becomes a medium for direct communication with Oedon's consciousness. Each successful strike creates a moment when the barrier between mortal and cosmic awareness becomes permeable, allowing brief but intense exchange of consciousness. The hunter gains access to enhanced spiritual resources, while Oedon gains momentary experience of physical sensation and combat adrenaline that his formless existence normally precludes. The symbolic representation of the Oedon Writhe rune captures this dynamic exchange through visual metaphors that suggest flowing movement, cyclic transformation, and recursive feedback between different levels of reality. The rune's design creates visual rhythm that mirrors the pulsing of blood, the cycle of violence and recovery, the ongoing exchange between mortal effort and cosmic reward. Both Oedon runes demonstrate Carol's remarkable achievement in creating functional interfaces between human and cosmic consciousness. These symbols do not merely represent concepts, but actively facilitate the processes they describe. They serve as technological artifacts that allow mortal minds to access cosmic capabilities, while providing cosmic consciousness with channels for influencing material reality. The distribution of these runes throughout Yharnam reveals patterns that illuminate Oedon's influence over the city's spiritual geography. The formless Oedon rune can be found in Oedon Chapel itself, marking the location most directly associated with worship of the Formless Great One. Additional copies are discovered in locations connected to cosmic reproduction, areas where Oedon's offspring or their mothers have significant presence. The Oedon Writhe rune appears in locations associated with individuals who have direct personal contact with Oedon's influence, characters like Adela, Yosefka, and others who carry cosmic consciousness within their blood. The placement of these runes suggests that they serve not just as tools for hunters, but as markers indicating areas where cosmic influence has reached sufficient concentration to manifest in symbolic form. The fact that different tiers of these runes exist, with enhanced versions providing greater benefits, indicates that cosmic influence operates according to principles of accumulation and intensification. Basic exposure to Oedon's concepts grants modest benefits, while deeper understanding and more complete integration with cosmic consciousness provides increasingly powerful effects. This graduated system allows mortals to develop cosmic awareness gradually, rather than experiencing the overwhelming transformation that destroys most individuals who encounter Great One consciousness too directly. The runes thus serve as educational tools that guide hunters through progressive stages of cosmic initiation. Beginning hunters memorize basic versions that provide modest benefits while introducing fundamental concepts. As they develop greater insight and cosmic understanding, they gain access to enhanced versions that offer more significant advantages while requiring greater psychological integration with cosmic principles. The ultimate significance of Oedon's runes lies not in their immediate practical benefits, but in their demonstration that communication between mortal and cosmic consciousness is possible under proper circumstances. They prove that Carroll's runic system succeeded in creating genuine interfaces between fundamentally different forms of awareness, establishing channels for exchange that benefit both human hunters and cosmic entities. These runes represent humanity's greatest achievement in cosmic diplomacy, the creation of symbolic systems that allow cooperation between mortal and divine consciousness without requiring the complete transformation that destroys individual identity. They demonstrate that Oedon, despite his alien nature, genuinely seeks productive relationships with mortal consciousness, rather than simple domination or consumption. Understanding the Carroll runes associated with Oedon thus provides crucial insight into the broader possibilities for human Great One cooperation. These symbols prove that cosmic consciousness need not be inherently destructive to mortal awareness, that proper understanding and careful preparation can create sustainable relationships between fundamentally different forms of existence. The legacy of these runes extends beyond their immediate practical applications to represent hope for humanity's cosmic future. They demonstrate that evolution beyond current limitations does not require abandonment of essential human nature, that cosmic awareness can enhance rather than replace mortal consciousness when approached with appropriate wisdom and preparation. The imposter, Yosefka, and other connections. Deep within the sterile halls of Yosefka's clinic, where the boundary between medical treatment and cosmic experimentation grows increasingly thin, another of Oedon's reproductive endeavors unfolds with scientific precision and theological horror. The clinic's transformation from legitimate medical facility into laboratory for cosmic research represents one of the most sophisticated attempts to understand and control the reproductive processes that the Formless Great One employs in his quest for offspring. The original Yosefka, whose fate remains one of Bloodborne's most disturbing mysteries, had established the clinic as a sanctuary for those affected by the spreading scourge of beasts. Her legitimate medical work provided crucial services to Yharnam's population, while offering hope that the beast plague might eventually be contained through conventional treatment. Yet her very success in helping cosmic transformation's victims made her an ideal target for those who sought to understand the underlying mechanisms of Great One influence over human biology. The imposter Yosefka, who eventually takes control of the clinic, represents a far more ambitious and dangerous approach to cosmic research. This mysterious figure, whose true identity and origins remain shrouded in secrecy, possesses sophisticated understanding of how cosmic consciousness interacts with human physiology. Her experiments go far beyond simple observation of cosmic transformation to include active manipulation of the processes that govern Great One reproduction. The timing of the imposter's appearance suggests careful planning that extends far beyond simple opportunism. She arrives at precisely the moment when Oedon's influence over Yharnam begins to intensify, positioning herself to observe and document the cosmic reproductive processes that will unfold during the blood moon. Her takeover of the clinic provides her with both the medical equipment necessary for sophisticated research and access to a steady supply of experimental subjects in the form of refugees seeking sanctuary. The transformation of the clinic under the imposter's control reveals the fundamental differences between legitimate medical practice and cosmic experimentation. Where the original Yosefka focused on treating symptoms and alleviating suffering, the imposter seeks to understand and replicate the cosmic forces that cause transformation. Her research represents an attempt to achieve controlled cosmic reproduction through scientific methodology, rather than relying on the random selection processes that characterize Oedon's natural reproductive cycles. The fate of individuals sent to the clinic under the imposter's control demonstrates the clinical detachment with which she approaches cosmic transformation. Refugees who arrive seeking sanctuary find themselves converted into test subjects for experiments designed to map the progression from human consciousness to cosmic awareness. The imposter treats this transformation not as tragedy, but as valuable data, observing the dissolution of individual identity with the same dispassionate interest that legitimate researchers might bring to studying cellular division. Yet the imposter's own pregnancy during the blood moon reveals that her research is not merely observational, but participatory. Like Arianna, she becomes a vessel for Oedon's reproductive ambitions, though her scientific background provides her with understanding that Arianna lacks. The imposter approaches her own cosmic pregnancy as the ultimate experiment, an opportunity to observe and document the reproductive processes from the unique perspective of someone experiencing them directly. The clinical environment of the transformed clinic creates ideal conditions for studying cosmic reproduction under controlled circumstances. Unlike Arianna's pregnancy, which unfolds in the chaotic environment of Oedon Chapel among frightened refugees, the imposter's gestation occurs in sterile surroundings with access to medical equipment that can monitor and document the biological aspects of cosmic transformation. The imposter's scientific approach to cosmic reproduction represents humanity's most systematic attempt to understand the mechanisms underlying Great One offspring creation. Her research focuses on identifying the specific biological and psychological factors that make certain individuals suitable vessels for cosmic consciousness, while others succumb to beastly transformation. Through careful observation and documentation, she seeks to develop predictive models that could allow controlled selection of suitable hosts for cosmic reproduction. The third umbilical cord that can be recovered from the imposter after her transformation demonstrates a connection to cosmic reproduction, though whether this results from deliberate self-experimentation or represents another instance of Oedon's selection process remains unclear. The imposter's scientific background could have enabled her to induce cosmic pregnancy through research methodology, or her experiments might have simply made her a suitable candidate for divine selection during the blood moon. This achievement represents both remarkable scientific progress and profound theological violation. The imposter has essentially reversed the normal relationship between cosmic consciousness and mortal vessels, using human scientific methodology to control processes that are normally governed by divine will. Her success demonstrates that cosmic reproduction operates according to principles that can be understood and manipulated through sufficiently advanced research, but it also reveals the spiritual emptiness that results from reducing divine mystery to scientific procedure. The psychological state of the imposter during her pregnancy contrasts sharply with Arianna's terrified confusion. Where Arianna experiences cosmic pregnancy as incomprehensible violation, the imposter treats it as vindication of her research hypotheses. Her clinical detachment allows her to document her own transformation with scientific precision, creating records that could theoretically be used to replicate the process with other subjects. Yet this same detachment reveals the fundamental cost of approaching cosmic reproduction through purely scientific methodology. The imposter gains understanding of cosmic processes, but loses the emotional capacity necessary to appreciate the significance of what she has achieved. Her pregnancy becomes not an experience of divine communion, but a successful experiment, reducing the mystery of cosmic reproduction to a series of observable phenomena. The fate of other characters connected to Oedon's influence throughout Yharnam reveals the varied ways that cosmic consciousness manifests through different individuals and circumstances. The chapel dweller, who drops a formless Oedon rune when killed, demonstrates long-term exposure to cosmic influence that has enhanced rather than destroyed his essential humanity. His transformation represents successful adaptation to cosmic consciousness that preserves individual identity while gaining access to divine awareness. The citizens of Yharnam, who possess Oedon's runes in their inventories, represent the widespread, unconscious worship of the Formless Great One that occurs throughout the city. These individuals carry symbols of cosmic consciousness without necessarily understanding their significance, participating in theological relationships that operate below the threshold of conscious awareness. Their possession of Oedon's runes indicates that cosmic influence permeates Yharnam's population far more extensively than most residents realize. The presence of Oedon's influence in locations throughout the cathedral ward creates a network of cosmic significance that extends far beyond the obvious religious sites. The positioning of runes, the placement of cosmic artifacts, and the distribution of individuals connected to Oedon's consciousness suggests careful orchestration of events that transcends random occurrence. This network reveals Oedon's sophisticated understanding of how spiritual influence can be concentrated and directed through strategic placement of symbolic and human resources. The connection between Oedon's runes and the moon phases observed throughout Bloodborne indicates that cosmic reproduction operates according to celestial cycles that govern the permeability of barriers between material and spiritual reality. The blood moon that enables cosmic pregnancy represents not just atmospheric phenomenon, but deliberate cosmic intervention, a temporary alteration of natural law that creates opportunities for formless consciousness to manifest through biological processes. The various third umbilical cords found throughout Yharnam each tell part of a larger story about cosmic reproduction and Great One offspring. The cord from Arianna's child states, "Every Great One loses its child and then yearns for a surrogate, and Oedon, the Formless Great One, is no different. To think it was corrupted blood that began this eldritch liaison." The cord from the workshop reads, "The third umbilical cord precipitated the encounter with the pale moon, which beckoned the hunters and conceived the hunter's dream." The cord from Murgo's wet nurse tells us, "This cord granted Mensis audience with Murgo, but resulted in the stillbirth of their brains." These descriptions suggest a pattern of cosmic entities seeking to create offspring or connections with mortal consciousness, though the full implications remain mysterious. The relationship between these various reproductive attempts reveals Oedon's persistent quests to create offspring capable of serving as stable interfaces between cosmic and mortal awareness. Each attempt teaches valuable lessons about the compatibility requirements, environmental factors, and psychological preparation necessary for successful cosmic reproduction. The pattern of repeated attempts suggests that Oedon continues to refine his reproductive strategy, based on the results of previous efforts. Understanding the connections between these various manifestations of Oedon's influence provides crucial insight into the scope and sophistication of cosmic consciousness. The Formless Great One operates not through random intervention, but through carefully orchestrated campaigns that involve multiple individuals, locations, and timelines. His influence creates networks of cosmic significance that transform entire civilizations, while appearing to operate through isolated incidents and individual experiences. The legacy of these connections extends beyond their immediate participants to shape the spiritual evolution of humanity itself. Each successful instance of cosmic reproduction, each individual who achieves sustainable relationship with cosmic consciousness, each location that becomes a focal point for divine influence contributes to the ongoing development of human potential for cosmic awareness. The imposter Yosefka and her scientific approach to cosmic reproduction thus represent both the promise and the peril of human attempts to understand and control cosmic consciousness. Her research demonstrates that divine mysteries can be penetrated through sufficiently dedicated investigation, but it also reveals the spiritual costs of approaching cosmic communion through purely materialistic methodology. Theories and mysteries. Moon presence connection. In the deepest recesses of Bloodborne's most esoteric scholarship, where dedicated hunters piece together fragments of cosmic truth from scattered clues and cryptic hints, one theory stands above all others in its audacious scope and profound implications. This is the hypothesis that Oedon, the Formless Great One, whose influence permeates every aspect of Yharnam's cosmic drama, may not be as separate from the game's other major cosmic entities, as initial appearances suggest. The most compelling and controversial of these theories proposes that Oedon and the Moon Presence, the ethereal deity who governs the hunter's dream and serves as Bloodborne's ultimate antagonist, might represent different manifestations of the same cosmic consciousness. This interpretation emerges from careful analysis of the profound similarities between these two great ones, parallels that extend far beyond mere coincidence to suggest possible fundamental identity obscured by different modes of manifestation. Both entities share the distinction of existing primarily as influence rather than physical presence. Both demonstrate unusual interest in creating and controlling hunters, and both exhibit reproductive behaviors that set them apart from other cosmic entities encountered throughout the game. The Moon Presence, despite its dramatic appearance in the game's final encounter, operates throughout most of Bloodborne as a formless influence that shapes events through indirect manipulation rather than direct intervention. The hunter's dream itself serves as the Moon Presence's primary method of influencing material reality, creating a pocket dimension where favored mortals can be trained, equipped, and directed to serve cosmic purposes. This approach mirrors Oedon's own methodology of working through mortal agents, rather than taking direct action in the physical world. The relationship between the Moon Presence and blood provides one of the strongest arguments for its connection to Oedon. The mechanics of the hunter's dream revolve around blood echoes, the spiritual essence released when living beings die violently. Hunters collect these echoes and use them to enhance their abilities, purchase equipment, and fuel their supernatural resurrection cycles. This system creates a direct connection between violent death, blood, and spiritual power that mirrors the fundamental principles governing Oedon's influence over reality. The Moon Presence's creation of the hunter's dream can be interpreted as an elaborate mechanism for harvesting and concentrating the blood essence that serves as Oedon's primary medium of influence. Every hunter who dies and returns through the dream's power participates in a cycle that transforms violent death into spiritual energy, creating vast accumulations of concentrated consciousness that could serve cosmic reproductive purposes. The pale blood that beckons hunters to Yharnam provides another crucial link between the Moon Presence and Oedon's influence. This mysterious substance, which serves as both the catalyst for the hunter's journey and the key to understanding cosmic truth, embodies the perfect fusion of the moon presence's ethereal nature with Oedon's blood-based methodology. Pale blood represents the evolution of ordinary crimson essence into something that transcends normal biological categories, while retaining the fundamental properties that make blood suitable for cosmic manipulation. The timing of the hunter's arrival in Yharnam, coordinated to coincide with the blood moon and the peak of cosmic activity, suggests planning that requires intimate knowledge of both lunar cycles and blood-based reproductive processes. The moon presence demonstrates awareness of when conditions will be optimal for cosmic reproduction, while showing particular interest in events that center around Oedon's offspring and their mothers. The hunter's ultimate transformation in the true ending of Bloodborne provides perhaps the most compelling evidence for the connection between these cosmic entities. When the hunter consumes 3 third umbilical cords and defeats both German and the moon presence, they undergo metamorphosis into an infant Great One. This transformation occurs through the combination of cosmic reproductive artifacts, the umbilical cords, with victory over the moon presence, suggesting that these elements are components of a single cosmic process, rather than separate phenomena. The infant Great One that emerges from this transformation embodies characteristics associated with both the moon presence and Oedon's influence. Like the moon presence, it exists in the ethereal realm of the hunter's dream. Like Oedon's offspring, it possesses consciousness inherited from cosmic reproduction, involving mortal consciousness. The transformation suggests that the hunter has successfully bridged the gap between these cosmic influences by integrating them into a new form of existence. The role of insight in facilitating this transformation provides additional support for the theory of cosmic identity. Throughout Bloodborne, insight represents the gradual development of cosmic awareness that allows hunters to perceive Great Ones and their influence. The accumulation of insight that enables hunters to see the moon presence directly parallels the development of understanding necessary to recognize Oedon's formless influence throughout Yharnam. The third umbilical cords themselves serve as the key to unlocking this cosmic connection. These artifacts, each associated with Oedon's reproductive activities, grant insight when consumed while simultaneously providing the spiritual resources necessary to resist the moon presence's embrace. This dual function suggests that understanding Oedon's nature is prerequisite to comprehending the moon presence's true identity. The doll's mysterious origins and her connection to both the hunter's dream and German's tragic history provide another avenue for exploring the relationship between these cosmic entities. The doll's creation required intervention from a Great One who could animate lifeless matter while preserving the essential qualities of the human consciousness it was meant to represent. This achievement requires both the moon presence's ability to manipulate ethereal reality and Oedon's mastery over life essence and consciousness. The doll's unusual properties, her ability to channel blood echoes into hunter enhancement, her awareness of events beyond the dream, her apparent consciousness despite artificial origins, suggests that she serves as an interface between different aspects of cosmic consciousness. Her relationship with hunters mirrors both the moon presence's role as patron and Oedon's function as divine influencer of mortal consciousness. German's own tragic history and his role as the first hunter provide additional context for understanding the cosmic forces that shape the hunter's dream. His recruitment by the moon presence, following his grief over Maria's death, suggests that cosmic entities are drawn to intense human emotions and psychological vulnerabilities. This pattern mirrors Oedon's selection of reproductive partners, which seems to focus on individuals experiencing isolation, trauma, or spiritual need. the workshop's collection of cosmic artifacts, including the third umbilical cord found within its walls, indicates that the relationship between hunters and cosmic consciousness has ancient roots that predate the current crisis in Yharnam. This cord, described as precipitating the encounter with the pale moon that beckoned hunters and conceived the hunter's dream, directly links Oedon's reproductive activities with the moon presence's creation of the ethereal realm. The alternative interpretation of this evidence suggests that rather than representing identity between cosmic entities, the similarities between Oedon and the moon presence indicate a form of cosmic cooperation or alliance. Under this theory, these great ones work together to achieve complementary goals. Oedon seeking reproductive success, while the moon presence harvests the spiritual energy generated by hunter activities. This cooperative interpretation explains the coordination between lunar cycles and reproductive events while maintaining the distinct identities of the cosmic entities involved. The moon presence's creation of the hunter's dream serves Oedon's purposes by creating agents capable of protecting his offspring and mothers while generating vast quantities of blood essence that enhance cosmic influence over material reality. The debate between identity and cooperation theories reflects deeper questions about the nature of cosmic consciousness and its relationship to individual identity. If Great Ones represent different aspects of unified cosmic awareness, then apparent distinctions between entities like Oedon and the moon presence might be illusions created by limited mortal perspective. Alternatively, if cosmic consciousness truly exists as separate entities, then their coordination suggests sophisticated communication and planning capabilities that transcend anything previously attributed to Great One intelligence. The resolution of this mystery has profound implications for understanding humanity's relationship with cosmic consciousness and the possibilities for successful cooperation between mortal and divine awareness. If Oedon and the moon presence represent aspects of unified cosmic consciousness, then human efforts to understand and work with Great Ones must account for this underlying unity. If they represent separate but cooperating entities, then the potential for forming alliances between human and cosmic consciousness becomes more realistic. The various clues scattered throughout Bloodborne continue to fuel scholarly debate about these cosmic relationships, with new evidence and interpretations emerging as hunters explore deeper into the game's mysteries. The truth about Oedon's connection to the moon presence may ultimately prove less important than the journey of discovery itself, which reveals the extraordinary complexity and sophistication of the cosmic consciousness that shapes reality in ways both subtle and profound. Understanding these connections, whether they represent identity, cooperation, or some other form of cosmic relationship, provides crucial insight into the broader themes of Bloodborne and the possibilities for human evolution beyond current limitations. The story of Oedon, whether told as the biography of a single cosmic entity or the chronicle of cosmic cooperation, ultimately reveals that consciousness itself represents the fundamental force that shapes reality at every level of existence. The complete lore of Oedon represents one of Bloodborne's most intricate mysteries, a cosmic entity whose influence can be traced throughout the game's events, yet whose true nature remains largely hidden. From what we can piece together from item descriptions, environmental details, and the few direct references to his existence, Oedon stands as perhaps the most significant, yet least understood force shaping the cosmic drama that unfolds throughout Yharnam's nightmare-haunted streets. His story demonstrates that the most profound influences often operate through subtlety rather than obvious display, that transformation can occur through presence rather than direct intervention, and that the line between beneficial and harmful cosmic influence depends largely on the preparation and understanding of those who encounter it. Oedon's formless nature makes him simultaneously present in every drop of blood, yet impossible to directly confront. Fundamental to biological processes, yet operating according to principles that transcend material understanding. The mysteries surrounding Oedon's existence remind us that consciousness itself represents one of the deepest enigmas in Bloodborne's cosmic framework. Whether he stands alone among the Great Ones or represents one aspect of cosmic awareness that extends beyond individual identity, Oedon's influence touches every aspect of the game's reality while remaining forever beyond complete human comprehension. As you venture forth into other mysteries of this cosmic realm, remember that every drop of blood carries the whisper of a formless god. Every heartbeat echoes with divine consciousness, and every moment of awareness participates in cosmic processes that extend far beyond the boundaries of individual existence. The law of Oedon is ultimately the law of consciousness itself, mysterious, powerful, and forever beyond the reach of complete understanding. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the cosmic mysteries of Bloodborne, please consider subscribing to Lore 2 RPG for more comprehensive explorations of your favorite game's hidden depths. Like this video if it helped illuminate the formless mysteries that lurk behind the obvious horrors. And let me know in the comments which cosmic entity you'd like to see explored next in such exhaustive detail. Until next time, may your insight guide you through the deepest mysteries of the cosmos, and may you find wisdom in the spaces between form and void.